Guten Tag, EUCOM. We have been hard at working tailoring solutions to fit your needs regarding the refugee radicalization problem. We have analyzed where refugees are coming from and why, where they are going, the pre-existing conditions and policies that exist and make displaced persons more susceptible to becoming radicalized, and how we further mitigate these occurrences of
radicalization and terrorism moving forward. A system must be developed that will assist radicalization prevention, promote prosperity for all parties, and continue to ensure a safe and secure Europe. As a result of the identified problem, as well as the intended needs and requirements in order to attempt to solve the problem, the following effective needs have been established for this system. First and foremost, the host nations, with help from EUCOM, must ensure that refugees they allow into camps within their countries are low-threat individuals who are less susceptible to radicalization. They must protect accepted refugees by offering proper shelter and resources to create a welcomed environment. They must implement policies that enable refugees to integrate into society successfully and safely. And they must foster youth development through integration, education, and extracurricular opportunities. Additionally, allied and host nations must integrate refugees within their local populations. And finally, EUCOM must maintain anti-terrorism and intelligence protocols with host and allied nations to ensure the interests are protected at all times.
As a result, we have determined that the system developed must protect the borders of the host nation, provide resources to refugee camps and refugees themselves, and provide direct aid and security to refugees.
In order to accomplish these design decisions, we have came up with a Zwickie's morphological box with the following ideals. First, increase U.S. troops guarding the borders. Second, screen refugees before entrance into host countries. Third, increase intelligence gathering capabilities. Fourth, fund and develop schools. Fifth, build refugee shelters. Sixth, increase available resources at refugee camps. Seventh, increase camp security using U.S. troops. 8. Provide employment opportunities for refugees in local areas. And finally, increase patrols in host country areas of responsibilities.
The derived problem identified system design decisions, and the parameters identified were used to generate a trade space featuring potential candidate solutions.
The trade space identified captures 27 separate candidate solutions, each with distinct capabilities and propositions. Following candidate solution generation, the solutions will be screened for the following metrics: additional troop count, how many troops will be required to engage in the solution, the cost to engage those troops in that solution, as well as resource allocations towards that, which will include a total life cycle cost, and finally, the time to place effective solutions in theater in months. While we do not screen or exclude any solutions on cost alone, it is important to note the life cycle cost for each solution. Using the previously mentioned metrics, we screened all 27 candidate solutions for each metric and came up with 3 distinct candidate solutions that are both feasible and tangible to implement at any time to potentially solve this problem and come up with a thorough solution that will assist EUCOM as well as host nations in solving the problem of refugee radicalization in theater.
Following the feasibility screening measures and cost analysis, 3 candidate solutions were identified as both feasible and cost effective, as well as fully able to be implemented to quell the defined problem. Candidate solutions 10, 13, and 19 were identified as feasible at solving the existing refugee radicalization problem EUCOM is currently facing. These candidate solutions provide the most feasible systems with respect to additional troop count, life cycle, and implementation costs, and to time to implement. Any of these screened candidate solutions ought to be able to be inserted at cost and be effective in combating refugee radicalization.
Candidate Solution 10 includes screening refugees before entrance into host countries, funding and developing schools, and increasing camp security using U.S. troops. This candidate solution candidly addresses the threat of refugee radicalization by first, screening refugees trying to enter allied host countries. This could potentially stop radicals at the source before they get in the theater. As a means of further deterring radicalization, the funding and development of schools and extracurricular activities for youth would aid in reducing the threat of radicalization refugees once they're in theater, and would allow us an opportunity to assimilate proper, liberal, and Western values into their development. Finally, as a means of providing aid, Candidate Solution 10 increases camp security by introducing troops into camps and their corresponding areas to ensure that they maintain a safe and just posture in the surrounding AOs. The candidate solution requires an estimated 2,600 troops, cost an estimated $2.42 billion as a lifetime cost, and will take roughly 15 months in total to fully implement. Candidate Solution 13 includes screening refugees before entrance into host countries, building refugee shelters, and increasing camp security using U.S. troops. The major distinction between Candidate Solution 10 and Candidate Solution 13 is the parameter used to answer the design decision of providing resources. Here, Candidate Solution 13 analyzes that the best way to address that decision is through the construction and implementation of new refugee shelters. By ensuring that refugees have adequate resources to live a proper life while in a refugee camp, it ought to reduce hostilities between refugees, their host communities, and all of EUCOM. Thus, it reduces the propensity for refugees to become radicalized. This candidate solution requires an estimated 2,600 troops, costs an estimated $2.37 billion as a lifetime cost, and will take roughly 15 months in total to implement.
Candidate Solution 19 includes increasing intelligence gathering capabilities with respect to incoming refugees and terrorism, funding and developing schools, and increasing camp security by using United States troops. The major distinction between Candidate Solution 19 and Candidate Solution 10 is the parameter used to answer the design decisions of protect borders of host nations. Candidate Solution 19 identifies increasing intelligence gathering capabilities as opposed to screening refugees as the best parameter to adequately protect the borders of host nations. By enabling intelligence gathering sources in their respective AORs, it allows EUCOM to act on radicalization, terrorism, and potential threats proactively, thus safeguarding the borders of host nations and their respective AOs. This candidate solution requires an estimated 2,500 troops. The cost is estimated at $2.33 billion and will roughly take 15 months to fully implement.
Failure to implement these solutions could lead to further destabilization in the region, as well as malign influence from potentially hostile near-peer threats such as Russia or China. Continuing to promote American liberal ideals is essential to ensuring safety and defending U.S. hegemonic leadership in the EUCOM area responsibility. Go Army, be Navy.